Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Valerie. What I'll be doing every Monday at 7 o'clock here on my YouTube channel is sharing my poetry with you. And the poetry that I'll be sharing is already pre-published work, either currently or previously, things that I'm working on or things that have already been published. And what I am hoping to achieve from this is just interaction with people that have followed me over the years and possibly new people that find an interest in the work that I've done surrounding poetry specifically. Um, to leave a comment, hopefully my goal is to get this to be more interactive where I can go live and do this. Um, that's being worked on. So today I'm going to share some recent poetry with you, and what I would like to see happen, and that's what I'm hoping would happen, is that you will be able to share with me your thoughts of the poem, not in so much of a dissecting way, but just some of your thoughts. What feelings did it invoke when you heard it? If you ever choose to purchase the poem book, chapbooks, different things like that, and you actually get a chance to take your time and ingest it and read it. What does it make you feel when you read this poem? What does this poem mean to you? No different than just like a book review, that if you've ever been in a book review club or you've ever taken a literature or an English class and you had to study the poem and study the reading and talk about what it meant to you, same thing, same concept is what I'm hoping to be able to achieve. So I'm going to start off with a poem that I've written, and this is titled Downward Climb. Actually, these next two poems, they're centered around, very specifically around mental health, mental illness, and the unhealthy state that we can be in at times unknowingly or at a place where you are aware of it, but you don't know what to do and you're crying out. We see a lot now in media, celebrities and even our families, loved ones that are suffering in silence, or they may be giving us signals, they may be giving us signs, and we don't know what those signs are. And if we do, maybe we're afraid to tackle them, we're afraid to address them because it makes us uncomfortable. So I'm hoping to be able to break some of those barriers and some of those walls, even just through poetry, to bring forth the voices that are so crucial and so necessary that are crying out. So the first poem is titled Downward Climb. Here I go again, climbing, lower and lower, so low that I almost reached the bottom. Hell would be so proud of me. But then even hell could not reach this level of heightened reduction. I'm so low that the most sliveriest snake would defecate from the very sense of my grounding. I'm low and I'm climbing lower. So low that even the groundhog would feel entombed of this degree. I'm climbing low and I'm climbing lower. And I finally have reached my top. Thank you. So you can comment on your thoughts on that poem, keeping in mind what I mentioned previously about mental illness and that process and the things that people feel possibly when they're suffering in silence. Another poem that's very specific to that same thought process with regards to mental illness, mental health, and the state of our the processes that we go through. One of my previously published collections of poems, poetry, is Fruits of Our Labor, My Words, My Harvest, a compilation of poetry and prose. I'm going to be reading from this book along the same vein of what I shared. And the title of this poem is Eternal Flame. and the moon waits far back in the distance, while the dense amber flames slowly descend to a place unknown. Where do we go from here? I often ask that question, and do you have a safe place that you return to each evening, only to rise again the very next day? Every day, like clockwork. You always exist, even when the cool, mellow drops of freshness sprinkle down, or when the loud rumble of the deep blue sky expel deadly, horrendous flashes of unexpected coils of light. You still exist, even when the fluffy, snow-like substance enters the premises and brings such extreme joy for every girl and boy. You're there. After sharing your warmth, your glow, as you glisten in the everyday organized chaos of our day. You never let us down. Not when you're with us. Thank you. To change things up a bit, I wanted to read a poem. I know I said I was going to probably read two, but really it was two within that whole concept of mental health. So make sure, above all else, you comment on these poems so that I have something to go back and review after posting these videos, so I can see what your thoughts are. What are you feeling? I like to know that. I like to know what feelings you get when you hear these poems. Oftentimes when I've done my poetry for an audience, or even when I'm doing a play, 9 out of 10 times audience members are in tears. And whatever feeling you have is real to you, and you should own those feelings. It's not a matter of I'm embarrassed to feel this way, or I don't want to tell anybody that I feel like this, or this poem made me feel this way. It's not about offending someone. It's about owning what you feel.